Hey everyone, Zikry Kholil here. Thank you so much for all joining us at our first ever episode, which is not a webinar. I want to thank you all for waiting in the lobby room and at the same time coming and joining us at our first ever episode of The Forge, where we hammer out the truth in seeking sustainable freedom from all your financial challenges. And this is why we have kept it anonymous for now. But now that you're here, I'm more than happy to go on this journey with you. So sit tight, relax, and let me introduce you of what's happening. So the Forge is more of a movement focused on exactly what I just mentioned to help you to navigate through all your financial challenges and at the same time to seek economic freedom from all the changes that's happening rapidly. So with me joining live in Kuala Lumpur is also my co-host. He does not need much introduction yet, but he will do so in a bit. Please welcome my brother Hagi. Hagi, how are you, brother?
How are you, Zik?
Oh yeah, we have to do the proper handshake, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Really happy to be here with you today, and thank you everyone for joining. I think Zikry here did an amazing first minute of introduction. My name is Hagi. Really happy to be here with you, Zikry, and really happy to be with everyone else behind the screen.
Fantastic. I mean, it's again, I was telling people that this is a webinar, but now I'm telling you guys that it's not a webinar. It's a webby show. And during this, throughout our time here, we will uncover a few truths as the Forge here is about seeking truth by hammering through our discussions.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just dive in immediately because I don't want to keep the audience guessing. And I know a lot of you are still coming in, so please enter as you are, and we will let you in for those who have subscribed to the show. But yes, back to my question. Are you okay?
Oh, 100%. I'm with you.
Oh, you're with me. Okay, come on. So I have not been able to sleep the past 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
2 weeks is quite recent, right?
Yeah.
And that's simply because I'm starting to see changes that I don't understand it completely. And having you here is not because you're just my co-host, but you have navigated through these types of scenarios in your life. And that is why it's commendable to have you here.
Thank you.
So my question is this, and tell me if I'm crazy or not, all right? So why I have not been sleeping lately is simply because I've been thinking about the money that I've been saving for the past years. And it seems like some of these fraction of my savings aren't really increasing as I expected to be.
Yeah.
Simply because I think I'm so much marinated in the whole conventional way of saving money and so forth. Hence why we asked everybody to do the survey, which gives us a lot of information of what we want to discuss. So am I crazy to think that my money is losing more and more of its value over time in recent times or no?
Well, I mean, Zikry, generally, maybe I can say yes, you're crazy, but for different reasons.
Let's not go there.
No, but regarding the question, it's. I wish I could tell you, no, you're not crazy, everything's okay. But reality is, it's typically it's even worse than that, right?
Okay.
And of course, when it comes to savings, it really depends on how you save. But you put the question in a way that you, as you said, you've been marinated in the conventional way of investing.
Correct.
And it does only make sense for you to feel that worry, especially during the crazy times we live in now. I think the audience majorly is aware of what's going on, the chaos that we live in the world for so many different reasons. But when it comes to the impact of all of this on the investments that we make or the savings that we put,
Right.
it's a very legitimate worry and a question to have. Indeed, 100%. Yeah.
And in that aspect, because I've been looking at a lot of differences of where we would want to invest. This is my own experience,
Yeah.
meddling my money in maybe an FD or stuff like that. But I don't see the impact as many of our audience who have done the survey. A lot of you, I think, more than 67% of you said regarding about they don't see their returns coming. And would you happen to know these things on your personal side when it comes to the differences of
Yeah.
returns
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
on these facts?
Yeah, sure. But of course, I can share. I would love to share, actually. The only thing I maybe need to make clear first is that
Yes, please.
my role here, I'm not coming in as an expert, as you know.
Yes, of course.
We know each other on the personal level for long.
All a long time.
So what we're doing here at the Forge, especially that this is the first episode, we're merely sharing personal experiences that came through years and years of trial and errors, and we've learned a lot through the hard way and all of this, right?
That's right.
And eventually, I think a lot of us within the circle of Forge have developed their own unique perspective, and this is what we hope to share with the audience here. So back to the point of saving, right?
Yes, my savings.
Yeah, your savings, my savings as well,
Okay.
until recently.
I'm
right?
not telling them how much, but my savings.
Yeah. Everyone's. I mean, so we all work really hard to either secure a better future if we are a little bit early on our journey.
Yes.
Like the younger generations, like the 30, 25, that will be probably the main driver. And if you're a little bit later in your journey, you're like on the 40, 50-ish phase of your life,
Okay.
you will start worrying maybe about the future of your own kids, if you have kids.
Correct.
Or maybe how would you like fare well when you're beyond the age of work and revenue generation, right?
Right.
And that's the whole essence of saving. The sad truth and what keeps you up at night
Yes.
is that most of the conventional ways of savings, even that some of them would have worked well in the past, they're becoming less and less relevant according to all these changes that are happening. And I think this is a perfect opportunity for us to dive not only on what's happening, but why what's happening is happening and where is leading us.
So why is it happening? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I've been denying the truth simply because I just didn't want to be that, you know, that guy who does it.
Yeah.
But now I can see there's a major consensus, especially coming from the survey.
Yeah.
I keep repeating the survey, guys, because that's how important it is to
Yeah.
us to refer back.
People are worried generally, not only here in Malaysia, but generally. So,
Yes.
and the reason why people are worried is that they come to a point in their life where they realize that whatever I was working hard for and saving and investing maybe in some bonds here and there, or investing in whatever, or maybe keeping as in cash, is not really keeping up with the changes in mainly prices. So we all feel that things have gotten generally more expensive.
Yes.
If we talk about here in Malaysia, I think in the past just couple of years, there's been an impact that we all could sense in the basic stuff, like, I mean, our like food and drink and transportation, and at the same time, there's not an equivalent impact on earnings. So this makes us deliberately look at the future, what our savings are able to do in the past, and would it be able to sustain us in the future.
Correct.
The main reason what people don't probably get that much is that things, while they look like they're getting more expensive, in reality, things are not really getting expensive.
No?
It is the value of money that is getting a little bit less over time.
Okay, so that's the key.
That's the key. So there is inflation that we all hear about, and we kind of understand as well.
Yeah, and the
But
basic.
the impact of inflation, what I'm suspecting is a lot of us don't really understand the depth of the impact of inflation on our daily life, because it really makes a drip-like impact. So every day there's a little bit of impact. Every day there's a little bit of impact. But if you're able to zoom out, right?
Yes.
And see what is the impact on a larger or a bigger time zone, maybe in 5 years or in the past 10 years, how did this really impact my financial position?
Correct.
You will discover that the impact is much deeper and harder than you would expect it. So the way I like to imagine inflation,
Yes.
in a poetic way, is like is that thief that sneaks into my house every night
We all have that.
and just steals a little bit of money from my wallet and leaves until next morning, until next night.
Oh boy.
So every day you work, or every month you work hard and earn something, inflation will sneak in and take a bit of that, and it does accumulate in a way that I think a lot of us don't really imagine.
Okay. So, having said that, you know, what evidence do we have for this this little thief? You know, I mean, I can call it, you know, this conventional financial system. You know, quote unquote, it is somehow crumbling. But do you have like a very strong evidence to kind of like give our viewers out there to kind of like, oh crap, that is a massive difference. I could have just moved away from X and moved to Z, for example.
Yeah, I would like to probably touch on two different points here.
Okay.
You're asking about evidence on the changes that are happening, or maybe the reason why things are changing in a certain way, which I think I'll touch on from my point of
Please.
yeah.
Yes.
So I think one key thing or one key change that we're seeing now
Yeah.
is that a natural shift from a lot of people from these conventional methods of investing to new ways of thinking. So there's a lot of people who are getting maybe into cryptocurrencies now,
Right.
regardless of the amount of risk. So we're not here to endorse anything anyway, but we're just talking
Absolutely
about
not. No,
what's
no.
going on, right?
Yes.
And that's in a way a statement. People are saying whatever was working, maybe not working as much today, or they're saying that there's a new opportunity for things that were not considered as part of our financial system, and that should be respected. There's also a rush in gold. A lot of people have been seeing that the gold prices have been going crazy.
It has been crazy. Yes.
Yeah. So this is only the symptom, like of something that is really deep with the financial and the monetary system.
Okay, you sound like a doctor, but yes, keep going.
Yeah, it's just a symptom. What we feel,
Yes.
what we see around us, are only the symptoms
Okay.
of a problem that is much bigger.
Okay.
The problem is that there is a way that the financial system that we live in, generally, globally, I'm not talking about Malaysia,
Correct.
globally, has been designed. And it has been designed to solve a lot of problems, like real problems. But unfortunately, it created, because of the nature of its design, it has also created a lot of other problems. But the bottom line about the current financial and monetary system is that whatever problems that are being generated are overtaking the benefits.
Okay.
So we are at this phase in history where the system is kind of self-eating itself.
Okay.
And in simple words, if we just keep going on or advancing with the current system the way it is, it's just not sustainable. So you were asking about the evidence, right?
Yes.
One key evidence, for example, to see the shift or understand that shift that is happening now in the system is when you understand that probably towards 2017, 16, around that time,
Okay.
the first signal that I personally got was a huge movement within the global tycoons layer.
Right.
A lot of the big guys that we hear about started accumulating gold on a personal level for their own personal wealth,
2016.
meaning that they would exit other positions like property, even, of course, cash, maybe stock market position. They would exit it and take higher or increase their position in gold. That was an early signal. At that time, I was like a little bit surprised because I've never seen gold as like a really an investment class
No,
asset, right?
it's not sexy enough yet.
Not at all,
Yeah.
right? So I was always thinking that this is something that is good for my uncle or auntie. It's
Yep.
slow and boring, right?
Yes.
So that move was surprising to me. And that was the time where I personally started thinking about the future. I had a small family and growing kids. I said, okay, what do I do? Started scanning and trying to understand. And I noticed this movement, but it didn't really grab my attention much. I said, okay, it's not for me. And that was the boom of crypto and stock markets. So,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
I'll jump on
2016, 2017, right? Yeah,
yeah,
that was
around
the
that time.
major boom. Yeah.
Correct. So that was one evidence that something's happening. Because regardless of how deep I personally understand what's behind such movements, I know that there's something big. So when you see these guys who are in the know, they're really experts in what they do, moving in herds into a certain direction. What I now understand is that you have to stop and pause and start thinking, why is this guy and this guy and that guy moving in that direction? I need to understand.
Right.
An example of that is when Warren Buffett suddenly exits all his position or majority of his position in the stock market.
Okay.
You don't have to be a stock market expert to pause and think, oh, wait, there has to be something major behind this move because it's not a normal move, right?
Understood.
So that's a sign. Another sign that came a little bit recently, like maybe 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, around that time, is that institutional accumulation of gold that we started hearing and seeing around us. So governments, central banks around the world started, I can use the word, maybe hoarding on physical gold, adding it to their own positions in tons, right? And that contributed massively to the run in the prices of gold generally. So these are two signs
Okay.
why I think there's something big behind this.
Of course.
Yeah, and then maybe the question that comes is, okay, why is this happening?
Yes.
And this relates back to our little discussion
Why
about
is it
the
not? I'm not able to sleep.
yeah,
Yeah, this is
yeah,
the answer finally. Yes.
yeah. So because you can feel all of these changes are happening, and maybe you don't know why is it happening, and you don't know how does this impact you on a personal level,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my point of view.
So, if I were to micro level this and look at the impact it has on Malaysians, for example, like we're not Warren Buffett here. We don't think like that. Or, we don't. Most of us don't have that. How do you say that knowledge or the acumen to point our fingers on like, okay, there's something big happening. I should shift
Yeah.
to other places where I can grow my money or bulletproof my savings or my wealth. So how would that impact for Malaysians like in general?
Well, that's a good question, man. So I think the impact of Malaysians, whatever that is, I think we need to realize that Malaysia specifically is in a good position,
That
generally,
okay,
relatively.
I
We're
give them
blessed.
that, yeah.
We're blessed. Yeah.
Okay,
So I've been
alhamdulillah.
here in Malaysia for long. I've been here for like 16, 17 years, as you know.
Oh,
And
that's a
I
long
have
time.
seen, yes, and I have seen the impact on many things. So 2008, I was moving to Malaysia, and that was the first big financial crisis that happened in the States because of the,
Okay, yes,
yeah, if you
yes, yes,
remember
of
that.
course, the mortgage crisis.
Yeah, and I was just moving to Malaysia. That was the shifting period, right?
Yes.
And I could see the impact of the same crisis on multiple parts of the world. And I think Malaysia generally was probably the most
Stable.
protected, one of the most stable
Kinda,
places,
okay.
right? I think
However,
with this crisis,
yeah,
I
yes,
think maybe think slash hope that Malaysia will still be in a preferred or preferential. However, as you said,
yes, however,
it doesn't mean that there's no impact. There is impact.
okay,
But to understand the impact, we need to understand where the impact is coming from. The impact is coming from the instability of the monetary system.
IMF?
No,
No,
I'm not
okay,
talking about specific. It's the general system, right?
okay,
So the instability of the monetary system, the instability of the financial system today. Why? That's a whole different discussion. But the fact is, it's unstable, and we can see that, right?
okay,
So that's the source of that instability. And then how it impacts certain societies or countries and individuals accordingly depends on where they are in the spectrum, right? So some countries, like where I'm from Egypt, right?
yes,
And my country has been hit very differently from the same evidence or the incidents. And I can give you maybe a story related to that just to show
yes,
the depth of the impact in other places.
of course, we
So
need that.
in places like Egypt and Turkey, for example,
Yeah, we all know, yeah.
Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, there's like a ton of examples that we can give. But these are, I mean, for our audience, you need to understand that these are on the extreme end of the spectrum, right?
Which is why Malaysia is a bit blessed.
Yeah, because Malaysia, in my opinion, is like somewhere it's a middle ground, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe on the high middle ground, right?
Graham, on the stable side.
Stable,
Okay.
stable-ish side,
Stable-ish.
right?
Okay, big difference there.
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah.
Okay,
So I think it was 2022
okay.
when I was visiting Cairo.
Okay, that's 3 years ago.
Yeah, something like 3, 4 years ago. I can't remember exactly. Around that time, I was visiting Cairo, and then I stopped a taxi, random taxi in the street. I get into the taxi, and literally in the first maybe 5 seconds of the conversation, I'm saying salam to the taxi driver. How are you? And after maybe 3, 4 seconds, he tells me, "You're not from here." I say,
Eh?
"What do you mean? Of course I am. I'm from here, right?"
Dibesh.
And he's telling me, "No, no, 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 no. But you don't live here."
Ah, he
And
could tell, huh?
I don't live here, but I went crazy because how could he tell that quickly that I don't live in Egypt? You haven't said anything,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
I said, "Yeah, I don't live here. How did you know?" And he said, "Because you look happy."
Ah, damn. That's
And
quite a
that was
statement.
bad, man. So this is, of course, I laughed
Yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
how quick he was. But I mean, if you think about it, it's quite sad, bro. It's
Yeah.
quite sad.
It is.
And the reason is, and then that made me look around me, and that was at the peak of maybe the second or the third currency devaluation that Egypt went through during a very short period of time, maybe 7, 8 years, more or less.
Oh, man.
And for people who don't really understand or know what a currency devaluation is that when you wake up like in the morning and you discover that whatever money you had in the bank last night is cut by half, literally, and it happened to me. So I had some cash position that I kept in a bank in Egypt, right?
Yeah.
You want to keep some cash there, keep some cash here. whatever I had in that bank over maybe the course of maybe 7 years, I lost 80% of the value of that money.
Shut up.
Yeah, crazy. I'm blessed to have other bank accounts and other
course.
ways of, and I'm not living there.
80%.
80%. So I want you to imagine the impact of this
100. Yeah, of
on
course.
someone who's maybe 50 years old
Oh, man.
and started to think at a point that they're getting closer to a comfortable retirement.
Yeah, yeah.
And all of a sudden they discover that they're uncovered. And there's absolutely nothing for them to do to recoup whatever losses that they. It's massive. It's really bad.
No,
right?
it's messed
Yeah.
up, man.
Yeah. So and there's a lot of similar stories to show the impact of such things. Here in Malaysia is much better.
Yes.
But maybe let me give you actual numbers on what could happen. So the impact of inflation.
Yes.
Forget about money devaluation.
Let's
That's
forget
a
about
different
that.
story.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? But just the normal inflation that we all live with and we have normalized around, and
Correct.
we don't really gauge or feel the intensity of the impact of
This is the one that the secret thief you're saying.
Yeah, that's the
right?
secret thief I
Yeah.
was talking about, right? So, real story, number 2.
That's a real story.
There's another real story.
Oh my God. I'm gonna get.
And that's my aunt this time, not a taxi driver.
Haram.
Yeah, so you don't know what happened to her.
I mean, you thought your aunt, man. I mean, come on. We all have that favorite aunt, right?
It's obviously a sad story, right? So
Yeah.
my aunt used to work for a big bank in Egypt,
Okay.
and she worked there for almost all her life, for maybe 25 years, almost 30 years, right? And then when she was around 55 years old, she said,
Yeah.
okay, I'll have an early retirement, maybe 53, 54, something like that. She said, I'll have an early retirement because I have daughters. I want them to get married, so I need the
Yeah.
cash now.
Yeah.
And it's okay. I've worked, she calculated the number and she said, if I exit now, I'll get some good package, right?
Okay.
And that happened.
enough.
So she exited the bank and they gave her a package. At that time, it was about 450,000 Egyptian pounds. That's something like $80,000, US dollars at that time.
Then at that time.
At that time.
2000 what?
That was 2007.
2007. Okay.
17 years.
17 years ago.
Yeah. Keep the number in your mind.
17 years.
She took $80,000 from her bank,
Okay.
and then she spent maybe 30K, 30,000 on multiple stuff. I mean, you to just get some money here, some money there for immediate needs. And then she said, okay, 50K I'll put on a fixed deposit, and that was almost 320,000 Egyptian pounds at that time. She said, with that return, I can live comfortably. I don't need my retirement package from the bank anymore.
Of course.
Right?
I mean, that's
And she did that. So she went to that conventional route that you were mentioning at the beginning of the discussion.
Yes. Correct.
She went to the FD, the easiest, the most straightforward, right? thing to do.
Yes.
So
But
she,
by the way, just to let you know, there will be a Q&A soon. So whatever questions you have throughout the whole show, just keep that in mind. We'll open up for questions in a bit. And at the same time, try and grasp what Brother Hagi is about to share, because I don't know, I have a feeling this is going to be a shocker. So, sorry, pardon me. I just wanted to remind our viewers. I
No,
totally,
no, no.
you know, we love you guys, but please, Q&A.
so what happened with Auntie is that she decided to go with a conventional route. She put 50K in a fixed deposit in 2007.
2007.
Yeah. And then the economy went through the crashes and the devaluation and the normal inflation, everything. Today, maybe I would like you to guess, and maybe for the audience as
For
well,
the
if you
audience
can
also.
guess,
Guess.
how much is that $50,000? Of course, just mind you, she didn't keep the $50,000 as in US dollar. She kept it in the local currency, which is
Egyptian
Egyptian
pounds.
pounds, 300,000 Egyptian pounds.
Okay.
But the value of that was $50,000 17 years ago. Now the same money is still there, the same principle, but 300,000 Egyptian pounds or so.
Okay.
It's still there,
Still there.
and it's been giving some return.
Oh, she didn't exit at all. It's still there.
It's still there.
Okay.
As we speak. Right?
Okay, yes.
Because, I mean, she's stuck. She
Yes.
cannot exit.
Of course.
Exit to do what with them? There's no other alternative right anymore.
Fair enough.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's still there, but I want you to guess, what is the value of that same amount of money in the local currency in terms of US dollar today? Can you give it
I like to say half of what the amount is.
I mean, I wish it was.
Okay, it's worse.
It's worse. It's worth $6,000 today.
Shut the front door.
Yes. I'll try.
Wait.
So if she takes that money out from her FD and she turns it into USD, that would be worth
$6,000.
down from 50K. That's an 88% loss
Oh.
in value of the
man.
principal in 17 years, bro.
Man,
Right?
my heart is broken for you, auntie, man.
It's not 70 years, it's 17, 1-7, right?
Yeah, that's like
It's crazy.
it doesn't seem a long time ago, to be honest.
And then take this as well.
Okay,
Let's say, for example, if she made a different decision at that time
okay,
and said, okay, I'm not gonna put 100% of it in an FD, maybe she'll put some, right?
yeah,
But that $50,000, I'll put it in a property instead. I'll invest in property,
okay. Let's say
which is a much more popular investment.
avenue to do, yeah.
Yeah, it's like probably arguably the hottest investment option
It is, yes,
or decision, right?
yeah.
That would have been much better. So I've gone through the numbers. A property that was worth 50,000 US dollars in Egypt, in Cairo at that time, if she would have put that money in, how much would it be worth today?
I would say double it,
It would actually almost triple it.
almost triple.
Almost triple
Okay,
it.
so
But
100
if
something.
there is a big if here,
Okay,
that's if she had made the right choice in the property and she was lucky, right?
okay,
Because with property, I love property investment. I do invest in property.
tamam.
But of course, the problem with property is that it's not straightforward for so many reasons. First, you have to understand exactly what you're doing. You have to know the location. You have to have the perception. You have to be really good with picking the exact unit that you're buying in a certain place, and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah,
Unlike gold, for example, that's why I'm tending to like gold more now, especially. Gold is straightforward. Everybody understands gold. It's no like big hoo-ha with gold, right? Just go and buy gold.
okay,
Straightforward, right? So, and then the shocker here, in my opinion, if a third person had made the decision to invest that same $50,000 in gold
okay,
today,
okay.
how much would it be worth today?
I would say
In
it's
17 years, 50,000
this
after
is
17 years. Yeah.
Oof. I'll say triple it.
Actually, the amount would be worth 350,000 US dollars today.
From the
From
$50,000.
50K over 17 years, right?
Okay.
It's 300. That's a real number, right? A real number. 1 gram of gold back in 2007, 2008,
Yes.
2007 mainly, was worth $15.
No.
15 US dollars.
I
Yeah.
missed the boat big time, man.
I mean, everyone here, please go and check the numbers. It's crazy. When you zoom out and you go back to the facts and you check the curves, you'll be shocked.
I should have never bought Bitcoin, but anyways.
Maybe
Okay.
a bit of this and a bit of that.
Yeah, maybe yeah, but
Maybe,
so
right?
$50,000, 2007. If I were to put my money in gold, let's say your aunt made
Yeah.
that choice,
Yeah.
she would have made 350,000 US dollars.
And to put it
Today.
in local currency perspective,
Yes.
whatever she has today is still worth 300,000.
Okay.
If she went into the same amount of money into gold, that would be worth about 17, 18 million versus
Ellie.
300K.
Oh,
But that's the extreme.
yes, yes, of course.
So the question is, what if the same case was here in Malaysia, right?
Yes.
So if my aunt was Malaysian, or
Inshallah.
was he,
I'll make sure she get PR, but yeah, inshallah, yeah.
right? If my aunt was here in Malaysia, right? How would the same scenario go? So I did the math as well.
Okay.
Yeah, in average, the return of, okay, so almost $50,000 would have been worth maybe 160,000 ringgits back in 2007.
Okay.
Let's call it 150K.
Yeah, let's
just to
put it
make
that way. It's
right?
easy, yeah.
100 of,
Yeah,
instead of 160, right?
Yeah.
That 150K in an FD would be worth today. Remember, that was $50,000 worth
Correct.
in an FD.
Yes.
Today, the value of this would be $58,000 after 17 years, bro.
That's it?
Because the average is 2.5 to 3.5%. That's it.
So I would have put my so in Malaysia we have ASB. I think we all know. Their dividend is like 6%, 5%.
It depends because you also have to adjust for inflation.
Oh yeah, of
So
course.
even the money that you're making is subject to inflation.
So there's no point in putting FD then.
No, I mean, I'm not saying so. So we're not really trying to give a direct advice.
Oh no, I'm telling myself.
Yeah,
you know?
and for someone like me,
Yeah.
I think there's no point, right?
Okay.
So there's of course some benefit of that. It's like straightforward, it's ease of peace of mind, right?
Yeah,
And it does
yeah.
give some return.
It does, but
Yeah.
not like jumbo ones.
Exactly. So
Okay.
so the question is, if you have an amount of money that you want to invest, how do you design your future or your kids' future, your retirement future in a smart way that you just don't go all in a certain direction? Or what proportion do you have to? So I think my personal biggest takeaway here
Yes.
is that until just a few years ago, I did not have the right perspective or understanding of gold. And now I do have much more respect and understanding of gold.
Okay.
And that's why I treat it differently. So, but to carry on the example of Malaysia, so
Please.
FD 50K,
Becomes
58K,
56,
58K,
58K,
right?
so $8,000 extra.
Yeah. So let's keep it in ringgits.
Yes.
So if you have decided to invest in property, an average property,
Okay.
right, in Malaysia, 17 years ago,
Yes.
and you put that 150, 160K in a property,
Yes.
the value of this property today would be worth something around 600 or 700,000.
Okay, so that's like
It's
3x, 4x.
670 more or less,
Okay.
which is fantastic. It's good. It's
Of
really good.
course. But again, you told me the logistic part, getting to know the place, the
That's
location.
an average. That's an average one. You
Tamam.
could be luckier or less lucky, right?
Okay.
In gold, the same amount of gold invested, or same amount of money, sorry, 150, 60K invested in gold,
Right.
2007, today would be worth 1.48 million ringgits. Almost, let's call it 1.5.
1.4 million. Allahu Akbar.
It's insane. Now, seriously, it's insane when you put the numbers
Oh man.
and then you appreciate.
So I mean, I know gold is God's money. That's why I like to say this.
true.
There's a reason. But why are we not been taught of this? Because I know our older generation, my parents, my grandparents, they all love about gold. But like I said earlier, I think I mentioned that it wasn't maybe sexy enough, or people are just not willing to, put a lot of their savings into gold. So why hasn't the mainstream media been focusing more on helping us or hammering us, as we're doing at the Forge? We hammer each other, the best ways. Like, why is it not told like this? Because I feel like it's a massive opportunity. I felt, honestly, right now, I felt like my 17 years was kind of, not to say wasted, like, everything is qadar, right? So I'm just gonna,
You still have more than 17
I
years.
have 70 more years to go, yes.
Yeah,
But
you can always start, man.
yeah, but the whole point, why hasn't the mainstream media said anything about this?
Yeah. I don't know for sure,
you
but
sure?
I have a theory about that.
Okay, theory, okay.
I have a
Fair
theory,
enough.
my own reading of the situation. I think mainstream media generally, even there's no one entity that we can call the mainstream media, right?
Yeah.
But typically there's a few entities that shape the general opinion that mainstream stream media
Mainstream media, yep.
takes from, right?
Correct.
And this is how we shape our opinion as well, based on the mainstream media.
Of course.
So my perception about gold probably came from something like that. When I first tried to learn about finances, how to manage finance, how to invest and grow money, I have to go online probably, or read a couple of books and try to educate myself and understand. This is my source.
So research.
Research. I do my own research. I
Critical
talk to
thinking,
people
okay.
who are more experienced and did their own research. And their sources is probably some sort of media source.
Okay.
And then you go up all that media pyramid,
Yes.
and then there you will find probably the same people who design the system, the general system, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, the financial system. And I think my reading, to answer your question, I think the general consensus is that it was good for the economy at a certain period of time, and maybe until now, that there will be heavy reliance on cash, stock market to keep the economy booming and people making money and keep countries growing. Right?
Okay, correct.
I don't think this is wrong per se, and I don't think it's fundamentally different today. And of course, pushing gold at the center of that system wouldn't really work, because gold is not that liquid, is not that mobile.
I agree.
It's not money, right?
Yes, yes.
So,
Maybe that's why it wasn't so sexy enough.
exactly. So it kind of makes sense as well. If you want to build a global economy that is thriving and moving and growing, you have to have a form of, like, the centerpiece has to be something more dynamic
Okay.
than just physical gold, right?
Yes.
And because of that, so gold, I think, was suppressed deliberately and devalued accordingly.
Holy cow.
And I mean, talking about gold and positioning it was suppressed. So I said, okay, gold is important, but let's not talk about that much.
So
right?
gold was oppressed.
Suppressed.
Suppressed. Yeah, okay, not oppressed. Sorry.
You were oppressed.
Yes, I'm oppressed by this information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
And then this also explains accordingly why we're starting to notice gold again.
Correct.
And appreciate it again, because it's not sustainable anymore. So that's naturally why gold has been pushed back by these tycoons and by the governments and by the central markets, to the central banks, and back to the highlight spots.
It was deliberately designed that way.
I think so.
Would
I
you
think
say?
it was kind of not deliberately designed in a sinister way, but maybe just ignored, right?
Okay.
Because we have to pay more attention to the US dollar, to the global economy,
Of
to the global
course.
currencies, right?
Yes.
And which kind of makes sense, right? So I'm not really trying to say that this
No,
is
no,
a
of
bad
course
thing
not.
per se, but
Yeah.
that's what happened.
So I'm gonna go back to our audience here. So one of the things that we do here at the Forge is we wanna also get your say your understanding, and we're gonna run a poll right now. And I really hope that you guys are listening and find this edutaining and also empowering at the same time. We're gonna run a poll right now, and we're gonna try and pull it out a bit. We just want to know, and do take your time with it and think about it, and we just want to be able to understand how much have you understood so far from what you've heard from our little conversation here. So, the poll is going to be focused on whom of you feel here are feeling deeply impacted by these changes that that we have just mentioned. You know, from what Brother Hagi was going through, from the story of his aunt to the moment of the issues of how gold was suppressed, not oppressed, but it's oppressing me from not having this information. But have that poll ready. Please do the poll if you can. We'll go back to the poll later on, and I'm having a lot of thoughts, bro. I'm just thinking about.
I'm just suggesting, should we give them maybe half a minute to do the poll?
They
Then
are
we
doing
carry
the
on.
poll. Let them do the poll, but I'm just gonna reintegrate. I'm gonna reiterate a few things,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna give you my opinion, and hopefully you could help me. That could be relatable, because for example, I have my sister.
Okay.
She loves properties. She
Oh,
loves to
nice.
buy mortgage. Sorry if I'm not gonna mention your names, yeah. But I have my sister. She's watching. She has a lot of properties, and she's having a tough time paying all the, how do you say?
Mortgage.
Oh yeah, the mortgage. Not to say, because something to do with, when the interest goes up, she has to pay a bit more. The interest goes low, that kind of stuff. So I know some of these pain points from people that even probably you might know, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, everyone has their free will, the freedom to put where their money are.
Of
But
course.
to be more safeguarded, while they're doing the poll, I'm just gonna ask you on my behalf, just myself, how can I protect myself to be more, I guess, like for example, I just told you
Yeah.
the fact that gold was a high risk asset. That's what you mentioned, right?
It was, yeah.
It
It's
was,
crazy, man.
which
Until
is,
recently, I think maybe 6 months ago.
yeah, which is kind of messed up to me,
Then it
because
was upgraded to a low risk asset suddenly.
wait. Is lowered what?
So this is a fun fact. It's a true thing, right? So
Okay.
gold
Yeah.
was classified as high risk asset,
Okay, which is messed up.
which is messed up. And the only low risk assets, like the top class assets in terms of classification, were, guess what?
What?
The US dollar,
Of course.
stock market,
Of course.
and futures.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so derivatives generally and US dollar.
These are
We're
all
top.
these are all formulas for disasters, bro.
Yeah, but and that's another signal. You asked me about the signals. And
Yes.
that's another signal that I forgot to mention about.
Yes.
So that reclassification of gold that happened just 6 months ago in October last year to the highest level or the highest classification there is.
So it
as a
was
low-
just upgraded 6 months ago.
to a low risk asset,
Son of a
which is
gun.
laughable. Which is laughable.
I mean, look, I don't know what else, I don't know what I can say about this, because, of course, I know bits and pieces. Maybe some of it is borderline conspiracy, but we're not going to touch that, right?
No,
we're,
no, no, of
We're
course
not we're not one of the shows, no. But the fact that it was de-risked
Yeah.
6 months ago, and back to my
Reclassified.
reclassified, right? Okay, back to my what I generally is asking is protecting myself, ensuring
Yes.
how I can safeguard with my, my savings.
Yes.
Now that we kind of been mentioning gold a lot, so
Yeah.
how do I go about with this?
Yeah, that's a great question because it gives me an opportunity to highlight something really important to our audience
Okay.
off the bat.
Okay.
We're not in a position to give advice. So if you ask me, how can I protect myself? I'll tell you, I'm not really sure, Zikry, and even for the audience who are watching today.
Yes.
So the purpose of creating the Forge is not really to direct people into any direction.
No.
And it's not to give them advice. We're not financial advisors. We're not licensed to do that.
No, we're not.
But what I
Actually,
can
they're the
do-
worst people to listen.
Not to that extent.
50-50.
Not to that.
Okay.
But of course, I mean, what we can do, what we're trying to do here is to create that circle, the Forge, of like-minded people, people who are kind of worried or concerned about the future, rightly, because we are living in unprecedented time And during these extreme times, extreme things happen.
Right. Right.
And extreme things happen, I mean, people get completely wiped out in a matter of like short years, like 3, 4, 5 years.
Yes.
If they're not ready with the understanding and the plan, or they make wealth, generation of wealth. That's the other extreme.
Okay.
If they're better positioned and know what they're doing. So our purpose of this discussion and creating the community, the Forge community,
Yeah.
is to really create a circle where like-minded people come and people with experience and certain perspective come and share knowledge, share perspective to each other.
Yes.
Not really to promote anything, not really to push any certain type of investment. So back to your sister, for example. As I said, I also love investing in
Yeah,
in
that's why I
property.
asked you. Yeah.
But my own take on property is that I would like to make it probably a part of my portfolio
Okay.
and focus on commercial property that generate income in order to avoid having to go to the FD to generate that income, right?
You mean fixed deposit?
Yeah.
Okay.
So people go for a fixed deposit because it's safe
Yes.
and because it generates some income.
Yes.
I think property is safe enough
Right.
if you do your own research and dive deep, and at the same time, if you know what you're doing, you can make it a revenue generating vehicle,
You can.
which is fantastic,
Yes.
right? And I love gold now more than anything else. And the beauty is that whatever you've seen in gold in growth in the
Yes.
past few years, let me tell you, this is only the beginning, because what's happening is not really like a running gold because it's crazy time and then things will calm down and gold will correct and go back to the normal curve. No, we're going through a global reset, economic reset. Maybe you've heard that before.
I have.
An economic reset or financial reset means that a lot of the old instruments, the financial instruments, will be no more. New instruments will be upgraded, like gold.
Okay.
New instruments will be more trusted and adopted, like gold. So I'm seeing what happened in the past couple of years and that shift in the trend line as a permanent shift. And that change in direction is here to sustain. It wouldn't be crazy to think that gold will double in value within like a short few years.
Okay.
So that's why I really love gold. It's a way to not only protect your money, but to be positioned to reap benefits. That's what I do
Okay.
personally.
So let's say if I have 100,000 ringgit right now.
Okay.
Okay, let's go even lower. I have 10,000 ringgit, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. With that 10,000 ringgit, knowing that the gold price of now, I don't know how much is it per gram, but
It's about 500 ringgit.
450 ringgit. Okay.
Ringgits, yeah.
So from
More or less.
from that 10,000 ringgit, how many of that percentage should I leave it for, say, gold in this case?
That's a very tough one to
Is it too
answer,
small?
honestly. For me, it depends on how old I am as well, right?
Oh,
Yeah, where are you in your journey?
I am 21 years old.
No, you're not.
No, no, no. Okay, let's say
I don't want to be given advice,
No, no,
honestly. So,
don't.
but what I'm trying to do is to probably, if there's a takeaway here, wouldn't be, maybe you can sit and discuss when the community.
Of course.
I think we'll move to a place where we meet each other face to face.
Inshallah.
Right? Inshallah, right?
Inshallah, yeah.
But I think we can come and discuss ideas on who's doing what with their own finances.
Yes.
But in percentage, I like to keep. Now I'm trying to increase the percentage of gold in my portfolio to go 50%, even more, 60%.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah. So this is recent because I understand what's going on and I can see the future, right? So I'm trying to keep it like that.
So how would you how do I say, tell that to, how would the audience understood what you're seeing? Because maybe for them it's like that's ridiculous, you know, like it's too much.
Yeah, I mean, so it depends again. So I'm not trying to take my experience
Of course.
on
Of course.
anyone.
Yes.
So it's not ridiculous to me. So for me, where I am now, I'm not that young anymore, right?
Come on, you're 21.
Yeah, we're all 21 here, right?
Alhamdulillah.
So for me, at my age, with my positions, and I think it makes sense to me to go for 50% gold. So that's why I'm saying the takeaway should not be how much in gold, how much in crypto, how much in.
Okay.
The takeaway should be, in my opinion,
Okay.
that there is much more to gold than people would understand or would get on the fly, right?
Correct.
And if the audience take away that refreshed perception about gold, from this session, I'll be really happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the poll just now because I think everyone had the time. So, Brother Aswat is our production director. So, you won't be able to see him most of the time, but he's doing all this legwork. So, if you can give a virtual applause by, there's like these little emojis, emoticons, give him a big round of applause or a like. He's doing all of this. Ah, there we go. There's a lot of clapping right there. So, I'm also going to clap. By the way, we also have audience over there. You won't be able to see him and a few other people. His name is Zikry. So funny. But I'm glad to meet my doppelganger. But yes, I'm gonna pull up the poll really quickly to see. It's only okay. So well, someone here has voted they are not feeling the changes at all. Okay, fair enough. But majority of you do say that you do feel that they are impacted.
That's like 35%. Is it? Or,
Okay.
that's almost 60%.
All right. Now, okay.
Yeah, 60% said I do.
Yes, I can see from here.
Yeah, about 20% said
Not
somehow.
really. Somehow.
Not really,
Why
right?
not? Okay.
And 20% said not at all, not impact at all. I'm very happy for them.
You're happy for them?
Or I'm a little bit worried, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what
I'm a
feelings.
bit of all of them. So as long as you're happy wherever you are, of course. But the whole point is we hope that some of 10 votes now. Okay. Oh, there are more coming in. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we so has your opinion changed now based on the
That's
poll?
the same. It's 80, 10, 10. So it's 80% are saying they are impacted.
They are impacted.
That's
Okay.
the latest because people are voting now live.
Okay. Cool.
10%, not really. 10%.
So okay.
Not at all.
Well then, so we were just talking about what you believe in your own opinion that
Yeah.
you just mentioned that you're going to increase to 50-60% gold. So is this the right time to buy gold then? Because I know that I mean last year was way less
Yeah.
than what it is now. It's almost double.
Now is way less than next year.
Oh,
So my strategy personally is to keep buying. Just keep buying. So whenever there's extra money, every month, I'll
buying.
take some cash and put in gold.
okay.
I'll take some cash. That's called dollar cost averaging, right?
I have no idea what that means, but
Yeah,
I'm learning.
DCA or dollar cost averaging.
Oh, okay,
DCA.
DCA.
DCA, dollar cost averaging, right?
It's okay.
Yeah, so DCA is just when you take a core position, take some position, say, okay, I want to invest 10,000 ringgits in gold.
Okay.
This would be my core position. And from there, I'll keep increasing or adding to it on a monthly basis, make it a habit. And I think this is an amazing habit I mean, all the youngsters in my family, I tell them,
Okay.
you have to save in gold. Somehow, just as little as maybe 10 ringgits,
10
50
ringgits.
ringgits, whatever you can do, 100 ringgits every
Okay.
month. Just make it a habit.
All right.
And then you will thank me later when you're like, I don't know,
Ah,
60
of
50
course.
or 40.
Okay.
The other takeaway should be as well, in my opinion, is that we've shared a couple of real life stories about my aunt and
We have.
myself
Right.
of real impact, like real massive and severe, like life-changing impact that happened in 17 years.
Yes.
So if you're 25 and you're watching, right, don't think that, I'm not relevant to that, I'm not related to that. In 17 years, right, if you're 25 today, you'd be like 40-something, 42 or so, right? And then you would have probably a budding family that would be very happy to be financially supported by your decision that you make today. And if you're like 30, if you're like 30 or 40, it's as relevant. 17 years is not a lot of time. 15 years is not a lot of time at all.
Okay.
So that's another thing I want to
Of course.
probably drop.
No, definitely. I mean, before we conclude our next segment, I just want to let you know, guys, that Q&A is coming up soon. So any questions that you may have, please jot them down. Let our brother Aswad will invigilate them and then share it to our screen, because I have a screen in front of me here. You won't be able to see it, but I see it. So I can see all the live comments and, well, not comments, just questions for now that we will slowly plow through in the next 15 minutes. But before I conclude this very impactful yet, mind-blowing conversation, especially like I said, like how gold is just being at a very differently classified.
Yeah.
And I think that's almost criminal to hide this fact. The thing about what I wanted to also ask, is it just gold or are there other alternatives like silver or?
Well, I mean, the way that we think about it,
Yeah.
like me personally, as I said, gold is probably taking a route on its own versus other precious metals. Like historically, there's been a clear coupling between gold and silver.
Okay.
They would go up together, they would go down together with a bit of lag. So
Okay.
silver would usually follow,
Right.
and it's more erratic. It's just like follow quickly and go down quickly, right? What's happening now for the first time, which also confirms that there's a real correction or repricing of gold that is happening to bring it back to its fair value. You remember when we said it's suppressed?
Yeah, I remember it.
So what's happening now is only merely bringing it up back to its fair value. And if you notice, silver is not catching up for the first time, or maybe it's not first time, but it's not catching up. It's very rare when silver doesn't catch up.
Oh, wow.
And there's multiple reasons. So a lot of people like to invest in silver because they think that once it starts moving, it will close the gap and it will follow gold again. Honestly, I'm not really sure about that.
Okay.
But maybe it will be a good strategy if you want to invest in short term, like if you're after a quick
Okay.
buck.
I mean,
I'm thinking with a long-term vision, right?
long-term vision, of course.
Yeah, I'm thinking of long-term vision, and probably I think this is one of the best things to do to keep your peace of mind. And
Of course.
yeah.
I mean, the only thing I know about silver is make it into a silver bullet, you kill a werewolf. You know, this is all because of my sister watching Twilight a long time ago. But anyways, I'm more educated now, obviously. So that's why I just want to know about the silver. So we're gonna go into the Q&As now. But
I think so. Yeah. Let's
yeah.
take a couple of questions.
I will. Yeah, there's a couple questions here that we're gonna go through. But do you wanna also, for the viewers out there, all of this show, this first show of the Forge, we could have not done this without Fire Wallet. So Fire Wallet has been the one helping us a lot to set this up. And I was just, and because Brother Hagi here is part of the Fire Wallet network, I was just wondering if you could help tell our audience the difference between the Forge and Fire Wallet.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I mean, Fire Wallet is a fintech from Portugal, from Europe. So we've been up and running for the past almost 4 years plus now. We have a solution that is probably, in our opinion, it's one of the most advanced and, as we call it, cutting edge solutions in the world to create financial systems on top of physical gold.
Okay.
So think of it as like a bank, but instead of cash, we use gold as the underlying asset. So we've created financial services like payment, remittance, like transfer of money, money exchange. All of these can be done similar to other famous apps, for example, but on top of physical gold. So we've done this. The impact in Europe is fantastic. To our audience in Europe is fantastic. And then what we're doing is that we're coming to Malaysia now. So we decided to start expanding out of Europe and come into Malaysia and the region, but we want to make Malaysia our regional headquarters. So we're talking to Central Bank, to Bank Negara, we're talking to SC, the Securities Commission Malaysia, to get the local license and start operating. We've been talking for a while now. So I think maybe hopefully in a couple of months we will be ready to launch the service officially to the Malaysian audience. And beyond, inshallah.
Inshallah.
So to your question, what's the difference between Fi Wallet and the Forge? So the Forge is a movement that we have decided in Fi Wallet, like me and Zikry, we have decided to launch. It's part of Fi Wallet itself, but is not really a business initiative. So there's Fi Wallet, which is a business initiative. We go for customers and all of this. But we decided that because we like to think of ourselves as an ethical business, Sharia compliant, and we are solving a problem which is universal. So what we're doing basically is that we're trying to make gold liquid, or the movement between cash and gold as liquid as possible. And this solves a big problem. So it gives protection of gold, as we just talked about now, how to get protection against inflation and hedge and all of this, how to benefit from the raise of prices in gold. And at the same time, you don't lose the practicality of money. So,
of course.
So you get to buy gold through our application. We save it for you. You can ask for it to be shipped to you. It's beautiful. And on top of this, you get a debit card where you can use your gold as money, right? So you can use it to pay for coffee and nasi lemak and everything, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Nasi lemak with gold.
That's transformational.
I mean,
that's transformational. So you can use it as basically your main account, right? So that's what we do. Once we're ready, we launch here, but that's the business.
Okay.
The Forge is what we're doing here, is to connect to the society, connect to the community, and start raising awareness about how to manage your finances better, how to be ready, more importantly, because this is not a usual time, as you said, it's an extreme time.
Yes, it is.
So it's an initiative to pay forward.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with the business. So
Yes.
the ultimate target that if we achieve, we'll be really happy with the Forge, is to empower individuals on all different levels of society through direct empowerment, like trainings and education and all of this, or through knowledge sharing and building that community of people who can come and give more protection to each other so we can grow.
That matters.
yeah,
All
that
doing it all
matters.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I hope that helped us clarify the position of between Firewallet and the Forge. The Forge is definitely the pinnacle grassroots movement that we are, just exactly what Hagi was explaining. But in conscious of time, I totally forgot that we have our Q&A. Actually, I didn't forget. I was just trying to wait for the right timing. So we're going to go pick out the questions that we have here. So there's a lot of anonymous questions that's been imposed. So I'm gonna try and look over here. Oh, there's a thumb up. Okay, thumbs up. Okay. Oh, okay. Here's one that is not anonymous. It's Miza. Miza's my sister.
Oh, wow.
So before buying gold, her question is: before buying gold, what should we know about storage costs? What
That's
are the
fantastic.
storage fees like? How is it calculated? Very good question, Miza.
That's a very good question because it also helps me tie. It's a segue to something else I wanted to talk about, right?
Oh, okay.
So the question is, before buying gold, how should we think about the storage cost? So typically, this is like a standard globally. The storage cost is 0.5%, 0.5% of the value of the gold that you store
Annually.
annually.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, per year. So let's say, assume that you store 1 kg of gold worth $107,000 US dollars today. Then we would charge 0.5% of storage. But, and that's why I really like the question.
Okay.
I think you mentioned about a gift, a special gift for everyone who's attending today, right?
I did. For those who ever stayed till the end, we will reveal the gift, but yes.
So maybe let's just reveal it now because it related to storage.
What? What do you have to tell? Hagi, you can tell. You can tell everybody. Okay, everyone. For those, like I mentioned, for those who did the survey, and now actually those who stayed with us throughout till the end of the show, I did mention that we will be rewarding those who are, simply because we want to incentivize and also help building you the tools that would help you along the way. So Hagi, you may just reveal it for them.
Yeah, so thank you, Zik. So I think for everyone who graced us with their presence today and stayed on, we can do a couple of things actually. Thing number one is
Okay.
related to storage.
Wait, there's a couple of things, guys. Okay, I didn't know.
So when we are available in Malaysia, we get free storage for 2 years for whatever amount of gold that you possess on Fi Wallet, right?
Sorry, I just had to put it out there. 2 years, you heard that, Zikry? Yeah. Okay, I'm just asking the audience. 2 years, okay.
So that's thing number one.
All right.
Thing number two.
Okay.
And we'll get back to the rest of the questions after that.
Yes, of course.
But the other thing that we'd love to thank the audience for attending here, on top of the 2 year of free storage,
Okay.
no cost at all. So you just store and we keep for you.
Okay.
The other thing that we can do is that for those who are interested, we're also offering links, special links or codes for them to, if they would like, so they can promote it or give it to their network of friends or family, whoever.
Okay.
And then they earn for whatever their contacts. So whatever their contacts buy,
Oh, wow.
they earn a percentage as well.
How come I don't have this?
You don't?
No.
Totally.
Oh, my Lord. Okay, so that means I get my unique referral link as
Yes.
myself.
Yeah.
I give it to, say, this other Zikry over here.
Yeah.
And if he keeps buying gold, I will earn
Exactly.
something of the gold.
Exactly. For a period of time. So it's not unlimited, but for a period
Oh,
of time.
okay, okay.
So what we'll do for this audience is that we will make this period of time generous.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you heard the guy.
Yeah.
He's not lying. We are Sharia compliant as well, so he cannot
Yes.
lie. We're not those regulators. Okay, great, man. Thank you so much for revealing the reward on the spot. I wasn't expecting that kind of reward because it's due to Hagi's discretion. But let's go back to the questions, huh?
Yeah,
I think
there's
everyone's
another
excited
question.
with all the rewards. So hang on, we're almost done, guys. So second question here is from Fadil. What would be your opinion on the real money management move?
The real money management move. I'm not sure if I
The
understand
movement of money management, I guess. The cash. I guess I'm trying to, I guess, translate.
the real money management move. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll try to answer based on my understanding, right?
Yes.
So I think the way that we see the relationship between gold and money
Yes.
is that money is good for the economy because it helps circulating value back into the economy.
Okay.
And while gold is fantastic for keeping and growing the value,
Yes.
but it's not as good in circulating that value because it's physical,
Right.
And even from Sharia compliance, because we're Sharia compliant, as you mentioned,
Yes, we are.
from Sharia compliance, the Sharia urges you not to hoard in gold and keep it because of the same reason.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the solution that we came up with to help with the movement of money in a gold ecosystem is that liquidity. We use the blockchain to fractionalize gold,
Okay.
right? And we make it easy to liquidate that gold immediately. So payment is one way of on-demand liquidation. So you just swipe your
Swipe.
card,
Okay.
and then you turn that gold into money easily again. So there's no barrier between moving back from gold to money.
All right.
That's, in our opinion, Sharia compliance. And it's also central bank compliance. Central banks love it because it does not block the gold from circulating back into the economy.
Of course
right?
not. Yes.
And then there's also the medium that we have developed for moving that money between users, moving that gold between users, and it happens almost in real time on the blockchain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that answers the question for you, Fadil. Thank you so much for asking. I don't know if we have questions from the crowd.
Yeah, there is, but I'm just cognizant of the time, right?
Yes, I think we'll take one more question if you guys don't mind, and then I will instruct what's going to happen next. So please stay tuned for that. We'll take one more question here from an anonymous, which is,
What is the safest ways to store physical gold at home?
oh, okay, that's a legit question. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I'm at home and I'm one of those guys who really want to feel the gold.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be anywhere else because it just gives me
Of
peace of
course.
mind.
Yeah, of course.
So do you? I do not.
One of the things we do is that we avail the possibility for shipping the gold back to our customers. So you can buy the gold through our application,
Okay.
and then we ship it back to you. If you decide to, you can, through the app, you say, okay, ship it to this address. And we ship it to you globally, anywhere in the world, right? So it's,
Oh, wow.
of course. That's an option. Even though I think the vast 99+% of our customers
Don't do that.
for the past 4 years, they don't do it. They just keep it because they understand it's cheaper to keep it with us. It's easier, it's safer.
And you can also liquidate just
and
like
you get
that.
the benefit of liquidation. So
Okay.
one of the things with physical gold is that if you buy, it's hard to liquidate.
Yes, that's
So they
one
have
of
to
the
take it to the
problems. Yes.
shop, and they have to check authenticity. And
Maybe that's why it's not sexy enough. I keep saying this, you know.
possibly,
Yeah.
it's one of the reasons. Now we fix this. We make it more sexy.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to conclude on the Q&A because I already mentioned at the lobby while you were waiting to come in, we only want to stick it to 1 hour. So we kind of did a pretty good job. It's only 1 hour, 5 minutes. But I want to thank you all for joining us in this session. There will be more of this. This is just the first episode. We are planning every month, inshallah. But the other important part, because you have participated, anticipated, and have been waiting for this moment, you have heard the reward that Brother Hagi was saying. And for us to record those who are going to receive this reward, we definitely need your help because we can't keep track of everything. But before we do that, we do have one more poll for you to do, just for us to summarize everything. And the poll question is, from what you have learned today, do you consider in taking some position in gold now? From everything that we have mentioned, of course, you know, we're gonna give you, we're gonna reward you with storage vaults to put gold. So you have this 2 years of free storage, which is pretty rare, I would say. I've never heard of anyone. Have you heard your bank giving you free storage gold? No such thing. So, alhamdulillah for this moment, alhamdulillah for everything, as we say. Do that poll. Oh, there's a maybe. Okay, cool. 2 maybes. Do this poll. This will help us understand further and move beyond in scoping out what would be best for the Forge. So while you're doing this poll, again, our production director, Brother Aswad, he's gonna share a very important Google form. To redeem the reward, we need this Google form to be filled up. Just your full name and your email. So please, huh? Oh, sorry. I thought I heard cockroaches, but it's just my backside. Anyways, bald guys, they can feel everything, if you know what I mean. So we just need you to fill out this Google form, your full name and your email. So make sure it's the email that you will receive from us, and the email that you will be using it for the gold storage, which will give you instructions in that email when we send it out. So make sure you fill that Google form, which Aswat just shared here. It's already pinned on your chat. And in case you don't see it, it's already there.
Yeah. You share the results of the poll?
Yes, let's go back to the poll. Aswat, what have people have said about that?
Okay.
Okay,
That's about 78%.
Yeah, kinda,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, 78% said yes. Oh, sorry, it's 88%
Okay,
said yes,
88%.
and 12% said
Said
maybe.
Okay.
The good news is nobody said no.
Alhamdulillah, I'm telling you guys, gold is God's money. I'm starting to believe in it even more, alhamdulillah. So, yes. So that kind of concludes our first session together.
Yeah.
And again, my name is Zikry Kholil. I'm just an ordinary guy who found something that is worth creating again, to recreate and move our minds to ensure that we are all safeguarded in the next 17 years. This 17 years that has been mentioned many times throughout this conversation really stick to me.
And beyond. Huh? There's not only 17.
Oh, of course, and beyond, of course. In 17 years from now, I'm going to be touching 50 plus. So it's important that I take this from face value. So the Forge is not just about having episodes like this and whatnot. It's more focused about you guys. And again, we're not here to push anything. We're more about trying to find out what possible means can we help craft for those who are having these challenges. Because I know a lot of people don't have access to buying properties, unless you're my sister, or going into other alternative investment portfolios. So we're trying to make things easy, where it's safe. It's always open for discussion. So later on, we have a community group soon, and we hope to invite you all to join as well. And over there, you will get all the possible incentives if you're a member. You never know, because we are all full of surprises sometimes, and many, many more things that we can do together. Your voice matters more than anything.
We would like to invite more people with time to come to the show from the community, from outside the community.
Correct.
There's not always going to be 5 talkative people.
No.
We're only sharing now our experience because it's the first episode.
Yes.
But as we said, this is a community that we're building. You're the first batch, which we thank you again for a lot.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you'll always be special forever.
Yes, forever and
But
ever.
we're going to build. There will be one of these at least once a month.
Yes.
There will be multiple events that we'll be building. And we welcome all the amazing minds in this group to come and pitch in, right? And we want all people to come and put their perspective. It's not us only telling people our perspective, right?
No. And because we're shy complaint, we're telling you the truth and nothing else but the truth. So thank you again, all of you guys who've been us from the moment this started till now. We look forward for you to fill out that one last Google form to validate those who have stayed till the end. And yeah, we'll let you know when the next episode happens. And see you guys next time. My name is Zikry Kholil.
And I'm Ahmed Haguin. Thank you so much. Really happy to see you today.
And may the Forge be with you.
Well, check out. See you next time.
Assalamu alaikum. Good night. And good night, Zikry. The other Zikry.